Hi and welcome to Note 7. I've been having all sorts of technical difficulties with Adobe Illustrator today, and I'll try to show you some of the issues that I've had because I finally fixed them, and I'll show you how I fixed them at least. So first of all, I want to talk about the assignment, which is going to be Run for Office. It's going to be creating a bumper sticker. You don't have to run for office. If you have some kind of cause that you want to do it for, that's fine. And you personally don't have to do a run for office, although that's kind of fun sometimes too. I've seen people run for emperor. I've seen people have Darth Vader, which is what I'm going to do today. You don't have to do Darth Vader. I've also seen Palpatine for emperor, which is, you might know the Star Wars theme because I just finished watching an episode of Star Wars Rebels. So the dimensions we're going to do is 3.75 height and 11.5 inches. And this is where I first came into the problem that I had. So let's go right into here. I wanted to set up the custom dimensions, so I clicked on More Presets. I selected letter, and then I couldn't come in here and get inches because it's just not showing the dimensions properly. So what I ended up having to do is taking this to another window and maximizing it. Well, it just so happens that I've already done that. I don't want to have to go through that process again, because once I switched it to another monitor, I had to resize this whole thing, and then I couldn't hit the create button, which is really starting to frustrate me. But yeah, you should have access to all the different dimensions. It's poor design by Adobe. I literally spent about an hour and a half trying to figure out how to do it appropriately, and finally just farted around until I figured it out. So I'm going to do two artboards at 11.5 inches width, 3.75 inches height, and since I've already done it once, that's how I came up with a custom. So just hit create, and away she goes. Now I've got two different artboards. I am going to show you the artboard right here. I'm going to name the first one is, I'm going to call it Vader, and then the second one I'll just call it me. I'm not going to do two because it seems like every time I do something it ends up crashing. So I'm just going to click on one. I could also come over here and select one that way. So now I'm going to have my layers only. And something that I did earlier, I went to Google, I typed in flag, came into images, and then I found an image of a flag that I really liked. I right-clicked on that and did save image as. The one thing I should point out, this one's got JPEG. The one that I did earlier, it was JPEG, which is also still a JPEG. So what I did is I came in and renamed it. Also, you don't have to stick with this whole name. I typically rename them something smaller, like flag or logo or whatever. So that's how I downloaded that. So now what I'm going to do is I've got my Illustrator. I'm going to come here and go File, Place. I've got my flag there. We want to be patriotic, so that's why we're doing it. We can hit place. Now notice how big it is, and it's way, way, way too much big. So the width is 25 inches. I want it to be more like 12 inches. And since I've got this selected, it will resize everything for me. And then I'm going to use my selection tool and drag it up here. Now if I wanted to, I could actually make it a little bit smaller, and it'll start to distort it just a tad bit. It really doesn't matter, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a clipping mask. Now if you're used to creating a clipping mask for Photoshop, this is exactly opposite of it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and click on my text tool and click inside there. I'm going to find a font that I really like, and once again I'm having all sorts of issues here, so I'm going to click on Arial. I'm going to make it much bigger, and I'm going to put in Darth Vader. Now, one of the things, if you were to leave it like this, the contrast is horrible. I cannot see the name, but that's not what I'm going to do, so I'm going to drag it up here, and I'm going to go bold. Ooh, I'm going to go bold italic. There we go. Now, I was real tempted to go in here and make a mesh for you. And you can do that, but then it's going to make it that much more complex. So I'm not going to show you how to do that, other than the fact that what you're going to have to do is once you've done it all, you're going to have to raster size it. And it's just too many steps. So you really don't necessarily want to use that envelope. But what I want to do, at least for this portion, which is making a clipping mask. Now I've got to come over here to layers. I'm going to select them both that way, and since that text layer is already on top of it, I'm already in good shape. I can go Object, Clipping Mask, and Make. Now one of the things I want to do is I'm going to change and add a bit of a stroke. So I'm going to pick a black stroke, and that way that you still have the waviness of the flag in the background. I'm going to blow it up maybe just a couple more points so it's easier to read. And so that's how we can create a clipping mask to make it more patriotic. Now one of the things you want to do is you want to have the person's name or the subject of your bumper sticker be the vast majority of it. And then the office can be down here. It could be a little bit smaller if you want. Doesn't have to be 72 point, but just something so it's easy to see. And so I'm going to put for president. And for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and go Effect. I can warp it now if I wanted to, but I'm on, oops, got to select it first. There we go. Now I'm going to go Effect, Stylize. I can add a drop shadow, outer glow. I can change how much of it is. I can change the color. So just something that makes it pop out a little bit. Another thing you could do is you could have a background, like say, since this is the United States, you could have a background of the United States, and that would be cool too, since we're all 50 states. But the main thing is you want to have the person's name be the biggest, the office be the second biggest, and then play around with positioning, and then anything else that you want to have for background. The one thing you should realize about bumper stickers is people are only going to have a few seconds to see it, so simpler is better. You know, so here I've got that flag, but you know, maybe it would be better to have a flag background. The problem with having a flag background is then the text makes it very much harder to read. It's easier to see that that's a flag embedded there. Now, a lot of times when you're dealing with bumper stickers, you want to limit the number of colors that you're going to play with. This is one of those cases that I really, truly don't want you to do this, because I want you to have a feel for how to manipulate the size of things. And then if you wanted to, you've got the artboards here, so I could go copy all this information and paste it and then do a slightly different artboard. But since I had my name me, or just me, something like that, may not be necessarily appropriate. So I got Darth Vader for president. I would probably want to have like a Raider mask right there, and then some small little comment. You know, have this up here maybe a little bit closer, and then some silly little comment like owner of the Death Star, or something just really obnoxious. Who cares? Have some fun with it. Also, normally I wouldn't say do this, but you know, you might want to put in a effect, stylize, do drop shadow, and maybe get it to be a lot smaller in the offset. So there we go. A little bit like that, and a little bit of blur. Oops. Come on, be nice. There we go. So it's got a little bit. One of the things you'll notice is every time you stick your mouse over there, it goes back to its original shape without the clipping mask, which I find to be extremely annoying. You can also do a clipping mask for President right there. Or, you know, just have some fun, have some creativity. One of the things, they had the Death Star picture there and then Vader right here. Or have Vader in the background only be lighter and then the Death Star. Just have some creativity. Now, one of the other things I wanted to show you, and let's go to a different artboard. There we go. Is that I've got a wide variety of fonts to play with. Now, I always look at typing over and forget that that's really where all the fonts are. Type font. Same thing, really. I wish they would have went font. But here we can go and get more fonts and download them from Adobe. And they are asking me to sign in. I've already done that. Yeah. Now what I want to do is, I've already downloaded this, but I'm going to look for some other fonts that I think are kind of good looking or that would be really useful. I can go next. Next. Oh, that's useless. Let's pick that and go View Family. Now I can activate all 6 fonts like that and then say OK. Now normally if I was doing this and I knew I was never going to show or do another video, I would click Don't Show This Again, but since I may come back and need to show it again, I'll leave that open. So what it's just done is, this is the new font that I've downloaded. Or not really, it's more like activated. You might have heard some noise in the background. That was Adobe saying, hey, you now have that font. And I forgot the name of it. Coquette. So I'm going to come here instead of Arial. I'm going to start typing C. There we go. Yeah, this is really truly annoying that it cuts things off. Really bad interface design. And like I said earlier, I spent about 2 hours messing with this, trying to get it so it's really nicely displayable on one page. So there, I just took this font off of the web, downloaded it, and now I have access to it. And then all I have to do is start typing away. And obviously my ego is way too big for that to be so small. I really don't like this font either. And then if I wanted to do the mesh, I could do that. But unfortunately, yeah, okay, it will not allow me, once I have this mesh, to manipulate it and do a clipping mask without having to rasterize it, and I just don't want to get into that. But some other things I want to point out is fonts like this tend to be thought of more feminine, and fonts with a serif tend to have a little bit more masculinity to it. Is it really? No, but that's the way it's thought of. You know, it's kind of a sexist kind of comment, but that's the way they view this. Oops, I don't want to do that. Let's go here. There. Oh, since I've done the mesh, it won't let me do that again. I keep forgetting that. Now I'm going to put a different color. Now, even though they'll show it, they won't let you select. You can change the opacity here. They won't let you select a different stroke. Come on, be nice. There we go. I'm going to pick a totally different color. Oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Oh, kind of like that a little bit better. There we go. Now if I get over here, it's going to cut it off. And then I can put some different, just find that so annoying. Click back here. I can add some additional font there. I can have like part of the first name John be red, second name Store white, and have this be blue, and then I can be real patriotic that way. You know, because I can pick certain segments of the name and keep the color. And then once again, you just kind of got to manipulate whichever way and have the office and then maybe a picture of the person or a picture of a flag now, since I can't use that, or a cool background. Like a lot of people like to use Arizona backgrounds if they're running for office in Arizona. But feminine right here, I'm going to do more of a masculine font. Click over here. Don't want that. And now it is locking up again. Why are you not letting me change the... Oh, there we go. Nope. Oh, by the way, we can do different filters. Like if I want to look for something that's more what they consider a masculine, I can click on a filter there. Or if I want to do something more feminine. You know, a perception of power a lot of times, or strength. You know, and sometimes strength is not necessarily what you want to project, but those are doing. And what you can do is you can slide down. I don't know if you can see it on the background here. I think I know what I can do. I can go like that. And you can see the different fonts and how it looks. You come up here to filter, something with a man, this thing is not playing with me. Filter. And it's not changing. There we go. There. This thing is not behaving. There we go. Now, slide this over here. So this is kind of a softer image or a softer text, and this is more of a strong. And these are what we call serifs. So a sans serif is without a serif. Now the nice thing about this font here is it kind of has, not exactly serifs, but it has some of that same, it's soft but yet strong and at the same time. There are other fonts that are real soft. So now I've got my font here. I can change it over this way. And put President. So if you're noted as a hardliner, you have that kind of reputation and you want to change that reputation, you can use a softer font and then still have the harder font for here. Now the one thing you want to avoid is you don't want to have too many different fonts inside of a bumper sticker or any kind of document, to be honest with you, because then it's harder for the eye to interpret and it just gets annoying. And then just like before, I could use all sorts of effects down here. I could do inner glow. Oh god, that looks like garbage. But you get the idea. So I'm wanting a bumper sticker. It can be for anything. It could be for president. It could be for a good cause. I want you to use a couple fonts. I want you to place pictures. A clipping mask is always a nice, cool idea if you want to make it look patriotic. Another thing you can do if you really want to get slick is go into Photoshop, do the manipulation so you can have the bend and then bring it in. But I wouldn't require that. But that's a way of doing it. So good luck, have fun, download some fonts if you want to play with the different types of font, and I look forward to seeing your bumper stickers. Take care.